This is the first video in a series of 2 videos on our music composition project that is going to be due in about 5 weeks for you. By the end of the project, using your crescendo notation software, you should be able to perform and turn in a professional piece of sheet music just like this with a melody and chords above. So what is a melody? A melody is a series of notes that are sung within a piece of music. It's the tune of the song, if you want to think about it that way. It consists of 2 components. The first component is pitch, so where notes live on the musical staff, and duration, how long a note is. A melody is most often written using a major or minor scale, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. And after a melody is written, then chords are going to be assigned that would accompany the melody. For instance, a piano player or a guitar player could play a chord along with you while you perform your melody. So let's talk about some basic tips for writing a good melody. Number 1, you need to stay within your assigned scale. In other words, you can't jump from a C scale to a D scale to a G scale. And we're going to be using C as our scale because it has no accidentals to have to worry about. Okay, so scales. Let's talk about this first. So a C scale starts on C. To make life easy, we're going to use the C that's on the ledger line below the treble clef staff. So here is the first note of a C scale, C. Okay? A scale has 8 notes and it begins and ends on the same note. From C to D, D is the next note of the C scale. When we talk about scales, we also have to talk about intervals. The distance from C to D is a whole step. So I'm just going to write W for whole. Then the next scale degree would be E. It's right here on the bottom line of the treble clef staff. And the distance between D to E is also a whole step. The next note would be F on the bottom space of the treble clef. The distance from E to F is a little bit different though. If you look up here, E to F is from one white key to the next, which means it's just a half step. So the interval of a half step between degrees 3 and 4. The next note is G, second line staff. F to G, whole step. The next note is A, again, another whole step. The next note is B, from A to B is also a whole step. And then from B to C, again, white key touching white key on the piano. That would be a half step. So the order of intervals in a scale, in a major scale, is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. This will work for any scale. Okay? Notice again, we're in C, and there are no accidentals. There are no accidentals because we are in the key of C. So when you write your melody, you're going to stay within the C scale using only these 7 different notes. 8 notes, but the first and last are the same, so 7 different notes. Okay? Okay, so now using the C scale that we just created together, let's write a sample melody. A few things that you should know. First of all, your melody is going to be in the key of C, which means we're only going to be using the notes on the staff that we just created with the C scale. No accidentals. Second, your melody is going to be written in 4/4 time. So that should be the next thing that we see right behind the treble clef on your staff is 4/4. 4 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets 1 beat. Let's start writing a sample melody in the key of C, and let's actually start on this ledger line, or what we would call middle C, right here. C on the piano, this note. Okay? To write a good melody, you want to write a melody that has more stepwise motion than leaps in it. The reason is stepping up or down is easier for a singer or a musician to do than leaping all over. Okay? So if I step up from C, the next note up I can write on the staff would be this D right here. C and then D. That's 1 step up. I can also see that on my keyboard. Here's C, and the next white key up is D. Okay? So I've got C, D. Let's step up again to E. C, D, E. Now I've got 3 steps in a row. I'm doing good. I'm writing a good melody. Let's put in just a little leap now for a little variety. C, D, E, G. I think that's good. I like that. And since we're in 4/4 time, I have to now draw a bar line because I have 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Let's go on to a second measure. Let's repeat that G. G, F, up. I'm just stepping down again. G, F. And let's step down again. E. Okay. Let's see. Now, sometimes I got to step back and ask myself, where do I want to go now? So, I'm following the stepwise motion rule. I've got a step, and I've got a little leap. This is the same note, so nothing there. Step, step. So more steps than leaps. I'm good. The next thing that you want to do in a melody is add some variety of rhythm. Right now I have no variety of rhythm because they're all quarter notes. And actually, I need another beat in this measure to make it 4/4. So I could take this quarter note and I could make it a half note. That would give me some variety of rhythm and allow me to have a second measure complete. C, D, E, G, G, F, E. We're writing a good melody. We've got more stepwise motion than leaps. Now, the next thing that a melody needs to be successful is some repetition. If you can include some repetition in your melody, it will again be something that causes you to create what we call a hook. And a hook is the part of a song that people associate with, they sing it. It's the part of the tune that's kind of catchy, if you want to think about it that way. So using repetition makes it easier, quicker to learn for a singer or a musician, and it hooks our ears into a part of the melody that we can attach ourselves to. So try altering the rhythm or the pitch in a part of your melody. Use repetition in the melody. Stay within 4/4 time. Stay within the notes of your C scale. Okay? Your project is supposed to be 8 measures long. 8 measures long. And because the crescendo software that we're using has playback, when you change a note or you change a rhythm, you can always play it back and hear what it actually sounds like. Okay, that's the advantage of using software. If we were just handwriting it out, you would have to go down to a piano or pick up a recorder or something and play it to hear what it sounds like. But with this software, you can make sure the rhythm that you're writing and the melody that you're writing is actually what you want to be creating. Okay, so now that we've written a couple measures of a melody together, I wanted to show you the melody that's actually included in your packet. It's one that I wrote a couple days ago, and it has the things I've been talking about. Number 1, it has more stepwise motion than leaps. Number 2, it has repetition in it. If you look here, this first measure, measure number 1 in this example, is exactly like measure number 5 right here. So there is repetition there. It also has one last thing that we should talk about. It has a focal point. It has a high note that only happens one time that kind of gains the attention of the listener. So you need to give your melody a focal point. A focal point in pop music or in show tunes is a single high note that the melody touches only once to provide emphasis. If you're looking for it, it's right here. It's right here, okay? It is that G right there, okay? It actually is repeated right here, but it's in proximity right next to each other. So it is that's the focal point, okay? So once you have a melody written that has repetition, but it has variety of rhythms. All the notes are within the same key. It's in 4/4 time. It's all in the key of C. My example is in the key of G, but yours is in the key of C. Then the next thing that you're going to do is add chords to the melody. So we're going to talk about how to add those chords in the next video. Okay? So again, the order of things. Your tune is in the key of C in 4/4 time and it's 8 measures long. We'll use the C scale. Your melody will begin and end on notes within the C chord. We'll talk about that next video. You'll write a few notes at a time and then keep playing back those notes with the playback feature that the software Crescendo has. This will allow you to make sure that you're writing the notes you want and the rhythms that you want. And after writing the melody, you will add chords, and all the chords will also be within the key of C. For extra credit on this project, you can add lyrics if you want to your 8 measures, or you can make it maybe 16 measures if you wanted to, and write a little bit more. Okay? The last thing you're going to want to do as you go along is also let someone else listen to your melody, because sometimes we as composers are very close to our own work, and we need some advice from an outside listener.